your getting involved is the single most important thing that's going to make that happen. Because if we can get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people contacting Congress on this one, I think the left and the right will agree. Democrats believe in censorship. They believe that we would censor them. And because of that, Democrats will be every bit as much afraid that this language that's been left hanging in Department of Homeland Security would be used against them as equally as it would be used against conservative things. Ministry of Truth is more dangerous, and it's already been used. It's already been in existence. It's been in existence since 2018. The Biden administration's been using it, and some of those deep state bureaucrats in the Department of Homeland Security used it during the Trump administration against President Trump and his allies. So at least that's the way it appears. So let's talk about that first. There's a law that was passed called CISA, and I don't remember how it's basically the computer cybersecurity law. It was passed the day that the Congress broke for Christmas recess. It was passed late in the day, and it was passed by unanimous consent, which means most of your senators could have already been on planes going home, but because the Congress hadn't been adjourned, somebody got up and said, I want unanimous consent on this. And nobody objected, so consequently it occurred, and that occurred in both houses on the same day. So it didn't get as much examination as it might have, and it does sets up a lot of protocols for cybersecurity, trying to communicate with utilities. If a nuclear power plant is, they found that Department of Homeland Security has found that nuclear power plant is be subject to a cyber attack. The bill itself really does help protect our country from cyber attacks from abroad. But there's a little section in it that does something else. It sets up this Ministry of Truth, demands coordination between the Department of Homeland Security and social media as it relates to misinformation, malinformation is what they call it. And it doesn't really define what those things are. Ballot box that's outside and unsecured might be subject to some kind of mischief. Well, they assured us that it wasn't, and that mail-in ballots are all okay. And anybody who says otherwise is engaged in misinformation. It's on the Department of Homeland Security website. So this is something that's actually being used. It's been used. It will be used in the future unless Congress defunds it and then next year rips out the language that authorizes them to do this out by the roots. So all these organizations are monitoring what we do. The difference with this Department of Homeland Security one is that they are actually aggressively trying to censor individuals who don't have speech that they agree with. And so if it's not government approved speech, they take it as their mission to shut you down and shut you up. And they may not be able to shut you up, but they can make it so nobody can hear you. And that's what they're doing. That's what they brag about doing. And so it's pretty dangerous. And that's why we've become so engaged on this. I would encourage you to take action and just urge Congress to stop, to end, to defund this Ministry of Truth. A couple of bills out there that do that. One's by Lauren Boebert from Colorado, Republican Colorado in the House. It has a number of co-sponsors, including a number of people in leadership. So it is actually at this point a leadership approved defund, which is helpful for when we fight this during the various appropriations bills. Secondly, you've got one in the Senate with Senator Tom Cotton as the lead sponsor, and it was introduced yesterday. We have a couple of things that are actually live that are happening, and now we need to lift them up by letting them know that the people care, and so people get engaged. And so I would encourage you to take action, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Basically, make this a cause to tell all your friends about. We have to shut this thing down. Senator Rand Paul got on the floor today, and he put a hold, which means he will not. There's some privilege that senators have to stop nominations by putting a hold on them until questions are answered. And he's put a hold on the nomination of the Undersecretary of Homeland Security, who is based on this Ministry of Truth, based on him saying to the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Biden administration, you can't do this. I'm not going to let you. And so he's taken this step of, and it's pretty strong move in the Senate to put a hold on the gentleman who's scheduled to be the number 2 person at DHS, has been nominated for that position, and denying that person the ability to take the job until DHS satisfies questions about how they're handling this censorship regime that they're overseeing. And so Senator Paul has done that and deserves accolades. Department of Homeland Security is able to monitor us, is able to do take action that is detrimental to our own ability to speak and to be heard. If they're able to shutter thought and speech in this country simply by working with social media companies, it's such a gross violation of basic First Amendment rights. First Amendment starts, Congress shall make no laws, and Congress has made a law. And so now our objective is to make everybody else as determined as we are to end this ministry of truth and to not let the federal government become the arbiter of what speech can be heard and what speech can't be heard. We have to do that. It's imperative. It's imperative to basic freedoms of this country. And so the Democrats know they're cooked in 2023. And so they're doing everything they can to try to disrupt now and get as much bad stuff done as possible. They don't want to have somebody who's sitting there who's they view as a partisan, somebody who they view as being somebody who is a radical for free speech, to be somebody for freedom, to be sitting there and being control of the reins of whether or not their anti-freedom message should be allowed to be delivered. So that's one of the things that we could probably expect to see a couple of Democrats break ranks.